Welcome back to the Social Seller Podcast with Conor Paulsen, where we interview the world's highest quality communicators, professionals, business owners, creatives, and everything in between. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're a high quality communicator, there's a good chance you're living a lot happier life, but you're also bringing those opportunities into your life almost like a magnet. My guarantee is that on this show, we only interview people that I, one, look up to, and two, that I know are going to continue to kill the game for years to come, and I want to make sure they're on your radar. But what I've learned is by asking the best questions, we get the best responses, and that's what the highest quality communicators, our social sellers, are all about. Let's hop inside to the Social Seller Podcast.
And hoard. Selfishness is never going to lead to great things.
No.
I want to give back. I want to find, and that can be in business, by the way. I want to find a problem that the world really has and find a solution.
Yeah.
And people are paying for solutions. You can help me with this. You can help me with that. It's like, absolutely. And if you're the best at it, but they actually have a mindset of like, I want to make a difference. I want my life to count. And that significance is significant.
Yeah.
I mean, people sleep better and they live longer. Money comes with that. You can be successful and not have significance, but significance typically does bring incredible, let me rephrase it, wealth or riches that sometimes aren't green or silver or gold.
Yeah. We are on the same page. And I had oh gosh, this would be the first sneeze I ever have in a recording. I'm in that in between.
Bless
you. Thank you. It went away. God bless. Now, I had a conversation this week on kind of that tone, and it was realizing that I was not only chasing happiness, it was mainly on significance. And I was talking to a professional, someone I really look up to. This individual is doing extremely well and very much at the same caliber you are, has companies around the world and like is just doing cool things. And when we talk, it's just our conversation, right? It's authentic, it's down to earth. I feel like I could have grown up around you, right? And whenever I say to anyone, like, I feel like you could have been from the Midwest, that's always a top tier compliment. Like, hey, like we align on values.
Awesome.
Now, he brought to my attention that significance enabled him to find success at a young age. And he was just talking about his own story, but I never felt anyone I looked up to someone say it so true to like, whoa, you just spoke to my soul. Like, whoa. And he talked about how significance was something great that allowed him to grow businesses, and significance allowed him to, he always wanted the next best thing, right? But a part of that was like he was always only seen by the most, he always had the most beautiful woman on his side. And when the next level was up, like it was like that person came in. But like businesses worked well and it seemed like everything was going well. But I don't think he was as happy, and that's what he came to explain. And it was this transition. I'm gonna guess he's probably early 40s now. And he explained how it was like mid-30s was him to have that realization, and it was doing some work. So this is an individual that's very close to Tony Robbins, and he did some work, and I forget exactly what it's called, the assessment, but it's like the 6 phases of what you value, right? Mm-hmm. And you can take this little assessment. Still can't find it. I'm sure Tony used to give it out for free. Now he's trying to get you to go to Fire Within or whatever that event is. And he talks about how that was like when his life really shifted. He stopped caring about all of that, and then immediately what he actually valued in family. And even though he knew, like, I value family, and I catch myself doing that. Like, I value my family, right? I have 5 siblings, 3 sisters, 2 brothers, cousins, family all over the place. And in my mind, I have a good relationship with all of them. But at the same token, like, are my actions aligned with what I value? No, right? Am I spending enough time with them? If I say that they're my number one value, no. Now, am I living congruent in that area of life? Probably not. So it was this wake-up call that significance allowed him to find a degree of success, but it left him shallow and not being happy. With the high-performing professionals, executives, CEOs, athletes that you're fortunate to work with, the Olympians, I'm sure you've probably seen a little bit of this. And where have you seen the benefits of significance, and where have you seen this fine line that you have to be careful of, and what would you recommend?
Well, look, there's grace for everyone. You're a young guy, so I'm like, go for it. Go for life. Go for your dreams. And successful people have had a chance to do that. Eventually, they realize on their own, that I need something more. It doesn't quite do it. It doesn't animate the heart. It doesn't quicken the soul to get up each morning just to make money or just to be successful. And that takes time. So if someone says, I just want success, I want to make $1 million and start a business, I don't ever say to them, you're shallow, or, that's developmentally appropriate.
Yeah.
I remember when, our kids were young, other parents would say, you got to tell your kids to share their toys. I'm like, they don't own very much at all. He's a 3-year-old. That's his only Matchbox car. If he doesn't want to share it, he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
I want him to know, you have ownership. That's your car. And then when he doesn't share it with his siblings and his friends, he gets to learn firsthand that your choice of not sharing actually means people don't want to play with you. And if you don't share your car, he's not going to share his G.I. Joe. And you're not going to get to play with his Spirograph. And that light bright, nope, they're not going to let you do. So
you're telling me Chase has never played with a light bright?
Chase is amazing.
Oh, no, I know. He's one of the most
He's the best. People. He's the best. I'm a Chase fan. But the point is, there's developmental phases for people. And when you're a boy, you act like a boy, But when you become a man, you do away with childish things. And there's a developmental process for entrepreneurs and people as well. And a lot of times it's like, I want to be successful, I want to win. But after that, you start to realize, okay, that might have been appropriate for a time, but now that I kind of got there, it didn't quite do it. So if I can just give people a little heads up, just don't be totally shocked if you win the Oscar or you get the Olympic gold if you're depressed afterwards. There's a reason we have 300 psychologists at the Super Bowl every year.
What?
Because after that game, it can be very depressing. I'll tell you, I got the privilege of reffing the national championship game for Division II for the NCAA in 2005. I was with 2 amazing officials. There's more amazing officials than the 3, but for some reason, God in his providence allowed me to advance round after round and do the final national championship game. I mean, that's as high as you can go in the reffing world.
Yeah.
And afterwards, I'm in the locker room, and I've got these 2 colleagues that I'd never worked with before, because in the national tournament, you get to mix it up. You're with people all over the country, which is really cool. And they looked pretty down. And I just said, you guys, I don't know you that well, but you look like you're down. And one guy's like, I'm just outright depressed. And I was like, tell me why. We just had 32 million viewers or whatever, and it's just, we had this really great game. And it's like, that's it. It's like, it's still just a 40-minute basketball game. And you get a small white towel in the locker room afterwards. Usually a Diet Coke and maybe a little something. And the game's over, and now you got to pack your bag and get on a plane and go back to where you live. Oh, well, we lost our wives, and because we followed our dream. It's like, so you're going back to emptiness? It's not worth it. That is it. It's just one more basketball game with the same shower and the same damn towel, and that's it. But it was kind of cool to climb the ladder, and it's an honor to get that game. But it's not going to make your life work. And that is one of the phenomenons of people who do arrive, right? That's some of the clients I have. They get there, and it's like, it didn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what happens after the Super Bowl or some major championships, is sometimes it's like, it happens after people have children. It's called postpartum depression, right? It happens, my daughter, who got married in November, was saying to me, Chandler, she's so dear and precious, but she's like, I think I'm a little down, because all that planning for that big event, and it was so fun, and we had a great time, but it's kind of over. And it's like, it's just a wedding. It's not a life. It was just a wedding. And so there is kind of that sense with working with successful people, which is a great privilege, is like, you guys already know success alone isn't going to fill the soul.
Yeah.
So for you and youngsters, and if you're young and you're an entrepreneur and you got dreams, don't let me squelch that. Go for it.
Yeah.
Make the money you want. Try the companies. Go for it. But just be forewarned that you may need more too. You may need to be more of a layered person, have a little more of a heart, still have good friends, find people who love you, because you don't want to spend Christmas alone, right? No matter how much money and how successful, you don't want to spend Christmas alone. So, and you're really good at taking care of people along the way. So that's my hope for you, is no matter how fast you go, you're an activator and an achiever. You love people, you respect people along the way. It's going to serve you really well.
Wow. There's like 18 things I would unpack in there. You're spot on. And studies have shown, right? I'm going to throw out a number because it's within 10 to 20%. Fact check it. Now, Robert Cialdini, a world-renowned psychologist, has a handful of books that are huge in the business world, in sales and marketing especially, right? And I've read them a couple times, but Influence is one of my favorites. And in Influence, they talk about the studies that have been done. And I think the easiest example, this is all built around anticipation. And I think that's really, when you explain these things, it's realizing how anticipation works, right? So think about it, if we can reverse time and we go back to when we were like 10 years old. And whether you went to Disney World or not, I think I went at like 16, so I didn't get it was winning a science competition, so it wasn't like the young upbringing, but I'm saying, or even a field trip at school, right? You knew it was happening. You already had your parents sign off on the paper the week prior, and this Friday, it's Monday, but this Friday, I'm not gonna have school, we're gonna go to a museum, we're gonna go do whatever. How does that week play out? Now, I know what happened for me was I woke up every day, probably earlier than normal, and I was just like excited. I'd wear one of my favorite t-shirts, and then I might wear the same favorite t-shirt the next day because I don't care, right? We have Friday off. We're going to whatever. And the week flew by. Now, what studies have shown, and Cialdini's study and the books have talked about, and I'm sure there's a handful of others, is that 80% of the value we put towards things is in the anticipation. So once that thing happens, it's this feeling of like, where did that go? So 80%. It's a little bit more than 50%. You know what I mean? So it's like, but if you're aware of that, now I look at things a little different. I figured this out, and it finally started to like set in a couple years ago, and it's helped me a lot, right? I get really excited about things, but I try to play on that. What do I do now that has changed my life? And I don't even know if we talked about this. Are you familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza?
A little bit.
A little bit, yes. That's all you need. Now, he does a lot of very cool spiritual work, we'll put it, right? And look him up on YouTube. You can see his content. He has a really cool creed. He gives out a bunch of awesome advice that's all backed by science now, things that you couldn't back 5 years ago, 10 years ago, just because technology grows exponentially. Now we can track these things. We can track the energy and how movement works around our bodies. The thing that changed my life 3 months ago was taking Dr. Joe's advice, and when I wake up in the mornings, the alarm goes off, either 4:10 a.m., because Kevin's going to pick me up to go work out, or it's 4:15, and that means I get an extra 5 minutes of sleep, and then that way I drive myself to the gym. And that's Monday through Friday. When I wake up, the alarm goes off, and I keep my eyes open for like 5 seconds, and then I shut them for a second. 5 seconds because I need to make sure I'm awake, right? It's still pretty dark. And what Dr. Joe says is sit there, and there's two levels. So one thing that I do that I don't even know which coach practiced it, start your day with the tone of gratitude, right? Come from abundance. So I will just, and sometimes I'll say it aloud, thank you for another day, right? I'm not talking to a God. I'm not talking to the universe. I'm just almost talking to myself, right? Thank you for another day. I live in San Diego. I am fortunate to have a business. Like, as much as once in a while I get caught up and I'm like, damn, this is taking so much time. Like, I'm more stressed than maybe I could be without it. But it's being grateful for that. And this is what Dr. Joe said. And this is what I'm getting at. Is that the second piece that's changed my life is when I close my eyes, I sit there and I start to feel the emotions of the anticipation and the excitement for just today and the unknowns that are about to occur. Mm-hmm. Being excited for the unknowns. When I do this, I've practiced it for a little bit, and I know it's going to get more intense, but when I do this, I feel it. I feel it shiver down my spine. It starts at the top, and I feel it. It's a full body experience. At the end, I feel it in my toes, and I feel it in my fingers. Mm-hmm. That has changed my life because the unknown of what to expect today is the unknown. It could be a person that I didn't expect to meet. It could be a new best friend I have in life. I could meet the dream person for my life, my soulmate, right? Mm-hmm. I could have the biggest business opportunity come in a LinkedIn message, right? Mm-hmm. That goes on across the gamut. Like any area of life, I love that mindset. Mm-hmm. And I simply share it because I want anyone else that's listening to this that probably cares about living a happy, congruent life to maybe experience it and to test it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I hear you say, if you are a person of faith, that's called hope.
Yep.
That's not novel or new. Anticipation is hope.
Play it in your favor.
Yeah.
If people are
absolutely.
getting depressed after the national championship and you were a referee, like, I get it. You're a human and I see what you're like. But it comes down to the lens you see the world, man or woman. Like,
Yeah.
come on. The lens you see is in some form scarcity because you're saying, whoa, I got here. But now what? It's like, well, let's go to D1 now. What does that track look like? We're
Right.
just getting started. I have this badge now, right? I got the
Right.
badge.
Yeah.
We did this, but it's like, all right, what's next? And it's not about always chasing what's next, but it's like, okay, well, I did this. Pat myself on the back.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate it. Work hard, play harder, right? I
Yeah.
think there's a huge psychology shift. And when I do let loose, because I love to have fun, I'm a social person, right? But I try to always coin it in a time that it's like I've accomplished something. And if it's not for me, it's celebrating someone else's win, someone really close to me, right? We will sometimes celebrate when a fellow business owner gets their startup to a point that they get health insurance, dental insurance for, they
Yeah.
have full-time like
Yeah.
W-2s now.
Yeah.
The average person would be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Yeah.
That means it costs more from your company. No. You have no idea for the person that started a company from scratch how much that means, because now we can retain talent. Now we're more of a legitimate company than ever before. That happened to us like 6 to 9 months ago, right? And that allowed us to retain top talent and to move in a direction. And now we're moving faster than ever before, right? And I say it because, again, bringing it full circle, it comes back to anticipation. It can
Yeah.
be
I love
the
that.
most beautiful thing, but it used to hurt me. It used to hurt me big time because I create all these false hopes and I'd do it. And then it was like, what's next? But if you know it's just a part of the plan, right? It's a part of the process. When you're chasing that thing and you're getting excited about the business competition in college, or you get a big award, or you show up on the news, or you show up in a big magazine for the centerfold, right? It's like, that's awesome, but that was just a part of it, right? So I would say, I think, and I could be wrong, why not have a bigger aspiration, especially when you know it's getting close, regardless of what happens, right? Maybe you do want to coach, or you want to officiate the national championship, right? But at least having the mindset that, hey, there is that chance, knowing realistically that I can make it to the Final Four, but I don't get pulled into the national championship. And guess what? If that happens, like, I'm fine. I know it was supposed to happen for a reason, right? And again, where am I going with all of this? It's the lens that we choose to see the world in. And I can tell you that from my experience, the people that live the most successful and happy life are the people that know it's always a stepping stone and truthfully believe, without being cliche, everything is happening in our favor, right? And I'm purposely saying that way instead of like everything happens.
There's a sense of, you have a sense of sovereignty or providence about the world. And anticipation is so easy. I mean, my wife's birthday is March 12th. I'm going to put a gift out like by March 2nd. I mean, she's going to say, what is this? And I'm like, your birthday's coming up. I can't wait. Can I open it? No, you can't open that. You got to open that. You can open the card. And then the card's going to say, by the way, carve out this night because I've got some plans, or we're going to do this, or I got a special dinner planned, or what. In other words, I'm going to milk that for 10 days, right? Not just on her birthday, right?
Yeah.
Because she's going to have that 80% anticipation of,
Yeah.
he's taking me out to dinner, or some friends are coming over, but he didn't tell me who. But he told me to dress nice, and we're going to, just anticipation is a gift you can give someone too.
Yeah.
Who's waiting for that next thing. And you're like, you know what? I got some things, I got this date on the calendar. If you're just a father, tell your kids you're going to take a vacation and give them the date. We're going to Disney World. And by the way, we're going to go June 1st. It's like, really? And you know how many days that is? And count it down.
Yeah.
Because the day is going to go very quickly. This is what I just was sharing with my daughter. I have 3 of my 5 kids are now married. It's like they're planning a wedding, and it's like engraved napkins and this and the arch and the kind of flowers. And I'm like, just remember, it's a wedding. 3 hours. It's a 3 to 4 hour event. Just remember that. Like, don't use your whole year to plan it. Like, don't over invest. It's a live event. Flowers can't be done earlier. You can't cook the food any earlier. You're not going to do your makeup any earlier. It all happens in like a few hours. So stuff's going to go wrong. But just plan as many things and then just let the cascade unravel and enjoy it. Because it's just a wedding. Okay? It's just a wedding.
So to any women watching this, you're probably cringing, right? Because I want to stand up.
Well, they
one
cringe
sense because that's
if
what they look up
everything
to.
is the wedding. They will cringe. I've done, I officiate weddings.
I did not know that.
And
So what don't you officiate?
I've officiated over 200 weddings, and I've told my wife on some occasions, just from the wedding, it's like, this couple's not going to make it. Because
Luckily, based on that guess, you're usually accurate.
well,
right?
now that I've done it for several decades, it's like I know if they do make it or not typically. And it's like, look, if you need that cake to not fall on your wedding day and your whole livelihood is about that, and if that happened, which it's happened at a couple, or the photographer didn't show, or they misprinted your name on something, or an aunt never flew in, and that ruins your wedding, you're not going to make it. I can tell you right now. For a 3-hour event, you're going to let that ruin that whole event, you're not going to make it in life. You got to plan 720 things you want to happen, and if like 410 of them happen, like that's an amazing wedding. But the doves may not fly where you think they're supposed to fly, And
Doesn't that just piss you off when they don't fly in the right direction, though?
that not when you start with the morning of gratitude and you say, you know what, no matter where those pigeons go or those doves fly or what happens or if the cake drops or the photographer doesn't show or someone faints during the wedding, you know what? We're going to have a damn great time.
Right?
And we're going to trust that's part of our story. We're going to trust. Can you believe after all this planning, it rained on our wedding, which one of my best friends, Russ Clenn's daughter's wedding, it rained. I'm like, it was like a picture out of The Notebook. Just all the water and them hugging and a stand. It's like they had a great, I'm like, they're going to make it.
Yeah.
If you can rain on your wedding, your outdoor wedding, and you actually had a great time, you're going to make it.
Yep. I want to meet her parents. Like you become a reflection of your environment, right? If we become our environment, you're exactly right.
But you know what? You talked about gratitude. I'll just add.
Yeah.
You can't have gratitude if you're entitled.
Yeah. What does entitled look like? Can you explain?
You think you deserve a perfect wedding. You think everyone should treat you well. You think no one should oppose you. You think you can make a referee call and everyone should agree with you. You think you deserve certain things. You think you don't have to work as hard. You think you should be able to cut in line.
It's a pretty selfish life.
You think life should be easier than this. It shouldn't be. I have people all the time. Marriage shouldn't be this hard. Really? Two sinful people that are totally different from totally different sexes shouldn't be hard? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. You're going to have to work. Well, starting a business shouldn't be this hard. I mean, we have a game plan and we got this and it's all in the oh, no, it's going to be really hard. You're going to fail a lot of times. You're not entitled. No, you came into the world with zero, my friend, and you're going to leave with zero.
Oh.
So everything you have, you're borrowing. So don't act like you own it all. Okay? You're here for just a short time and then bye-bye. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you're Kobe Bryant. There's no guarantees.
Yeah.
So live large, live graciously, love people. You're not entitled to a damn thing. You don't deserve anything, but hell probably. But if people are nice to you and things do go well and it's sunny outside and people are actually kind of charitable to you, like, be grateful because you don't deserve it. I don't meet people who's like, oh, you deserve great stuff. Yeah. No, we don't deserve anything. And gratitude flows from you don't deserve anything, that you are no one special. And then all of a sudden you kind of are special because it's like, it's really special to meet someone who thinks everything's a gift.
Yeah. Like, why does it seem like I'm the luckiest person in the world?
Yeah,
like,
and they trust it. And not only do you have your moment of gratitude, when I pray in the morning, I pray for whatever, my wife's going to ask me for something today. And the answer is yes. I already decided. It's not hard for me. So when she's like, can you go fill my car up with gas? Or do you mind going to Pete's Coffee and just grab me a coffee? Absolutely. That decision was already made. It's super easy. Chase is actually really good at that, and it blows people away because he's like, here to serve. Happy to do it. I already planned that in my day. Yeah. I didn't know what it would be, but, well, I got a flat tire. Any chance you can come pick me up? No problem. Are you sure? Absolutely. Like, I was ready. I'm ready for this. Yeah. So not only can you have a heart of gratitude, but you can have the heart of a servant too, which is stuff's probably going to go wrong. And then when people blow it, I already know my response, which is I'm going to love them and extend grace. Because when they blow it, that's what they need. They probably deserve a whack on the side of the head, or you fool, or I told you so. But why don't you shock them with just, you know what, we'll get through it. It's okay. How can I help?
Yes. I should be taking more notes, and anyone watching this, make sure you pause, rewind, take some more notes. We're getting, whether you're married yet or not, I know this conversation has to speak to someone out there, and that's the whole goal of this, right? I love what you're saying, and I think there's so many different synonyms we could use for what that looks like, because it's one aspect of coming from abundance. It's one aspect of saying, damn, every little thing I'm fortunate to have, right? When you start counting what you're grateful for every day and it becomes a practice to start your day and end your day,
Right.
magically you look at your life like, holy shit, I have all my things going for me, right? Like when you start thanking vision to be able to see color, right? There's a lot of people that don't see color, right?
No,
to smell,
they
to have your
don't.
senses, to have 2 legs, 2 arms, to be able to work out, to have the mindset to eat healthy consistently, to have the mindset to say no when there are opportunities that come up, but you know it wouldn't make you happy, but you feel obligated because you should probably
You
go
were
support
pointing
your
out
friend.
right before we started chatting, by the way, you can see Tijuana right over there, and I'm like, you and I could have been born there. We would have totally different backgrounds, totally different, like, is that what they deserve? No, you get the story you're dropped into. And the people I work with are so courageous. It's unbelievable. I don't work with anyone who's like, I just inherited stuff and was fed with a golden spoon and life's been super easy. They have your story. It's like they come out of Iowa. Like, what good thing can come out of Iowa, right? A cornfield? Come on.
A lot of good cornfields. Don't knock the cornfields.
But I look at those people, I'm like, you know what? They're fighters and they're courageous and they have grit and they have gumption. I love working with people like that. If they don't have courage, I don't work with them at all. It's like, you want to try to do something significant, you don't have courage, not going to happen.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be so many things, backstabbers, betrayers, financial setbacks, market changes, so many things. You're going to have the courage to fall down, fail forward, learn from it, pop back up, have a sense of positivity. Okay, let's start all over again and keep going. And if you have that, I know you're going to make it.
Yeah, and you say, like, the backstabbers, people that betray you, people that do this. You might have a male or female in your life that you love, and they betray you, right?
What?
That can
How could
happen.
What?
That can happen, but what if right now you go, wait a second, I'm human, and that all of those things could happen to me. Do I want them to happen? Hell no. But what if I go, that could happen to me, and decide right now how I would react? Because
And it's okay if it does happen.
It's
and I'm
okay
going
if
to
it
love the
happens.
betrayer.
Exactly.
How's that?
that takes some time sometimes.
Well, we could
But
decide
you're
that
right.
now.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
already, I'm not
It
gonna
wasn't their fault. I'm glad it happened now.
I'm not going to personalize everything. You get to hate me. You get to try to take me down. Look, it doesn't matter what sport you play. Take football. I mean, why would I hike the ball and get ready to go and be shocked that, oh my gosh, they're trying to tackle me? Every play. Every time we try to move down the field and make a goal, like someone's trying to take us out or intercept the ball or grab it from us.
Right.
Like, you better expect that on every play. And somehow you're going to have to find a way to get the ball in the end zone with all that opposition. And you don't need to be cursing the other team. They're just doing their thing. And other people are just doing their thing. They get envious. They get provoked. You know, you're too handsome. You're too smart. Your company's growing too fast. They get on fire. And you're just going to love them. It's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
They can say, well, I hate you. Well, I hate me too sometimes. You know, welcome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no big deal. Like,
Yeah.
You're free. I'm not regulated by you. I'm just going to show up how I'm called to show up. I'm going to do the best I can. And you can love it or hate it. And
Yeah.
that's all okay.
I love it. I could go down this rabbit hole. You've been an executive coach at the highest level, working with some of the highest level people in the world for 40 years now. What separates you and or what has enabled you to get to the level that you're at? What separates you from any other coach?
There's so many good coaches. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of great coaches out there. So I wouldn't want to be presumptuous enough to say that, you know, somehow I'm separate from them. There's amazing coaches that do a great job. If there was one thing, I don't think anyone could love their clients more than I do. I'm all in. My clients all have 24/7 access. They can call, text, anytime. They're not in a program with me. We're going to do life together. And I love them. I pray for them. I try to network for them, resource for them, help them to achieve their goals. It's not about me. It's about them. So I'd be surprised if there's many people who can do that better, but there's a lot of great coaches.
Amen. That's a selfless human being. That's a good response. And I wasn't trying to set you up, but I really want to see the separation because I know from our conversations and talking with 1,000 others, and I'm not exaggerating. We actually looked at in the CRM. And I love them. I love these conversations, but I know there's a definite difference amongst you, how you show up, the energy, and you've defined your segment of who you work with and who you know you can help the most. And I love that. And you're disciplined to stick with that. Now, it wasn't always that way. And as we promised earlier in the episode, could you just give us one of the juiciest stories having to officiate with one of the most intense coaches? It doesn't matter. Just give us the example. Like, put someone that doesn't know basketball maybe that well, like in the context of like what you were feeling, what they were probably feeling, like internal, external variables.
Well, like any sport, it's not about referees. I mean, I can think of 1,000 different stories, but the one that just came to my mind is a coach who was just losing it, right? This team's losing. They missed 17 free throws. They bounced the ball off their leg. Who's he going to yell at? He's going to yell at the referee, And anyways, he came out on the court. And he was in the, the middle of the court and stuff. So, I teed him, and I'm like, you're going to have to go back. And I tried to be gracious and stuff. And come on, buddy. I'm really trying to help him.
I know you are.
It's like, you're not playing against me. You're playing against that other team. So I'm an advocate for you. Like, I'm not your opposition. They are. So let me help you. But later in the game, he just had another meltdown and threw something and threw the chair and came out on the court. And I was like, okay, my friend, now you're going to have to leave. How are we going to do this? I don't want to shame you or embarrass you, but if you'll just keep walking like straight to the locker room right now, that'll be cool. I'm just going to walk over to the table and just let them know that's your second tee and you've been ejected. But I'm not going to like do anything dramatic. I'm not here to shame you. Yeah, I'm not going to like let the whole crowd get in an uproar. I'm like, if you just like quietly walk off, that would be super, and I'll let them know what we've talked about. So I just think the more people are on fire, put them out.
Yeah.
When my wife is having a hard day, and I picture her on fire. And I picture when someone's on fire running out of their house going, and you don't say when they're on fire. If you're not going to enunciate, and if you don't like slow down and get super rational, I'm not going to listen to this. They're on fire. Put them out.
What does it look like?
I give her a big hug.
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what she's saying, but it's like, and this, and there's a rat, or there's
I can't believe it either.
You just hug her, put the fire out, calm her down, and go, how can I help, right?
Yeah.
But with coaches, with business, with problems, put people out. Don't personalize it, diffuse it. So when I think of like really hard things, I think, well, that's when they need us. They don't need me to like show them up or shame them. They need help. They've lost their mind. There is a mindset change, and I see it with coaches. He's super nice before the game. Good to meet you. Have a great game. You're a great guy. All of a sudden, the ball goes up, and it's like, okay, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Okay, now he's crazy, man. He's paranoid. He's neurotic. He's like lost who he is.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can help him.
That is when your emotions are getting control. I love this, and backs again why you need at least one person in your corner, and that's why I love our conversations. Now, bringing this full circle, for anyone that got value from this, and I have a good feeling it's going to be a lot, and I'm entertained just in our conversations, how can people get a hold of you, and how can people get in contact with you if there's any ways, they want to learn about your book, they want to potentially work with you?
Yeah,
who does that person look like?
They can contact you. You can go to my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook, Dr. Dave White. My email is dave@drdavewhite.com. So, and I've got a website, www.drdavewhite.com. So I'd love to get in contact with you if it's helpful. But the bottom line is get what you need. And, you're a young pup. So I'm like, you got a lot of decades, so you're doing great. But if you need financial help, get it. If you need a chiropractor, get it. If your car breaks down, don't wait till it can't run. Go get help. And if you need someone to help you with your mind, I'm not a therapist, but I'm a stealth therapist, right? I want to be a pastor for pastors, a mind coach for people who are losing their brain a little bit, and just a great confidant for alphas who are like, I need someone. I'm the giver. I'm the prime mover. I'm the leader. I do it for everyone else, but I don't really have anyone for me that holds that. It's like, let me know if I can help.
Hey, right? The people that give the most, they need someone in their corner to juice up that Energizer Bunny again, right? When you give all the time you need, and that's why I see myself in certain times, certain states, I surround myself with certain people that also give that.
Yep.
And I appreciate it. Thanks again. And for anyone watching, I hope to God this provided some value. And I know it did for me. I know it did for Oscar. I know it did for all of us. And to just continue this and to maintain this momentum, and with the handful of incredible people that we are beyond fortunate to even have a conversation with, a like and comment and letting us know your feedback below helps us out a ton to know how we can better serve you, right? This isn't about us. We don't earn anything off of this. This is legitimately how can we provide value back to the communities. We greatly appreciate you. And Dave, this was a good one.
Good
appreciate
being with you,
you,
brother.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming down.
Thank you all.